So I believe, let me just check this out. Y'all, I believe we are now live. So I'm going to be the first to say, welcome to Blacks in the Burbs. It is Sunday, June 3rd, and it's the first Sunday in June. And do you know what June means to me and to many, many Burbies? It's the month of love. This is the month that women and men actually commit to each other and say, I do. This is the beginning of it. Even though nowadays I notice there have been a lot of shifts in terms of when people have weddings because June is the most expensive wedding month. But today, we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about weddings. We're going to talk about some of the dopest Black weddings we've seen with the dopest Black wedding editor and officiant and planner that I've ever seen. Miss Bridgette from Black Bridal Bliss. Give a wave, Bridge.
Hi.
And Miss Thelma from Invitation to a Wedding.
Good evening.
And so today, give you a little bit of background about what happened to me today. I spent the whole day doing numbers for work. That's what I did. It was, and I'm still not done. I'll be up till 1 o'clock this morning. So that's all I'm going to say about today. But I want to talk to you about my funniest story from my wedding because I got married 9 years ago, June 13th. So I was a June bride 9 years ago. And the funniest story I have from my wedding was going all the way to Brooklyn to the woman that I loved to get my weave done the Friday before my wedding, because my wedding was on Saturday at 4 p.m. So I had to do the install on the Friday, and I was gonna go back to her Saturday morning to get my hair curled. Now, mind you, she is not in the fancy part of, this is ungentrified Brooklyn, before Brooklyn got gentrified, right? And while I was there getting my install on Friday, a fight broke out amongst the hairstylists. One pulled out a hot iron on the other one. One had a razor or something, and everybody ran out the salon, and I was just sitting there with some relaxer in the middle of my head. Thank God relaxers don't happen anymore, right? And, and I realized what was going on, and I slowly ran out too. And I'm like, okay, when is this gonna end? Because this needs to come out, right? And then it was at that moment that I decided that there was no way I was risking coming back the next day to get my hair curled, because I'm like, I could be dead and I'll be in the New York Post. This woman waited till she was 40 years old to get married, and she got killed on her wedding day in Brooklyn in a hair salon. So I said, you know what, let me find somebody local. I literally went around the hotel I was staying at and found somebody who did an amazing job. I was very happy with my look. I think you can see my wedding picture here.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you. I think this is the first time this actually came in handy, because this is the picture that's always up there. This was not even, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the first time I could actually point to it. There it is. That's when I got married. So that was my funny wedding story. And I'm going to say cheers. Tonight I'm sipping on Shandy in a champagne glass, because I didn't have no champagne. I wasn't going to pop some champagne open and just take one glass. So I'm sipping on Shandy in a champagne glass. Cheers, and cheers to you, Thelma. And what are you sipping on, and how was your week?
Well, cheers, everyone. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
I'm actually sipping on water.
Okay. She's sipping on water, Bridgette. Water.
Right.
I love it.
And like yourself, it's in a nice glass. So, yeah, I'm sipping on water tonight.
Nice. What's the weather like in Florida?
Actually, today was quite hot.
Okay.
I didn't do anything today. Normally I would get up and go to church, but I've been ripping and running, as they would say. And so I stayed home today. Plus I got home late last night because I went to a beautiful couple who are celebrating 65 years of marriage.
Wow, that's beautiful.
65 years. Amazing.
That's amazing.
And such a beautiful couple. The lady's really sharp. They're both sharp. It was a surprise. They were told that they were going to actually see her guy, which is Barack Obama.
Oh, okay.
So they had no idea that a whole host of family and friends were awaiting them. And when they walked in, they got the surprise of their life.
That is beautiful.
Unfortunately, Barack Obama was not present, but that was the only way to get her out. And we had a fabulous time. I asked her what her secret was, and she said her secret is having God in the midst of her marriage, the grace of God, and don't sweat the small stuff.
Amen to that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I
got home late last night from that, and I decided to take it easy today and relax, which I don't normally do. And so, to be honest with you, I actually did nothing today.
Okay. That didn't sound like it, but okay. Cheers to that. Cheers to doing nothing, right? Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm. And Bridgette, how are you, and what are you sipping on today?
I'm well. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you for coming. I'm so happy to have you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, like Thelma, I can't say it like you with the British accent, but I'm sipping on water.
What?
But I want it to be water.
Yeah. I love it.
Water, Bridgette, water.
I did a semester abroad in London, but I wasn't there long enough to get the accent. So it's in a martini glass, though. I don't know if you guys can see my glass.
Now, that is a gorgeous martini glass. I've never seen one like that.
Thank you. My husband got us these.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, and then I like fruit infused water, so I mixed it up. I put frozen blueberries in the water.
Oh, I see the blueberries.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cute. Okay. Well, listen.
I did a lot of just personal, stuff, like some emails, not nearly as many as I wanted to finish, cook dinner, caught up with,
That's usually how Sundays go, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, you look really good. I love the sleeves on your shirt. They're really pretty.
Thank you.
Where'd you get that?
Zara.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks custom because it has like the Jamaican colors. I thought it was
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, people have told me that. No, this is so Zara.
Okay.
It doesn't have that interesting of a story.
Well, it's cute though. It's cute though. Every cute outfit don't need a story, so it's all good. So, alrighty. So let's get started because I want to hear a little bit about your journey because Bridgette is here to tell us about weddings, sharing her favorite weddings that she's done since she started with Black Bridal Bliss. But first, I want you to tell us a little bit about your journey. How you got started with this and where you are with regards to your career, your life, and everything else.
Okay. So let's see. I'm originally from New York. I started Black Bridal Bliss in April 2010. I can't believe it's been that long. I have a background in print media, print and digital media. I've worked at Essence, People Magazine, a lot of the bigger women's lifestyle titles, and really wanted to create a platform of my own to celebrate Black women getting married and falling in love, getting engaged. There was in 2009, 2010, there was a lot of talk about, I think it was the New York Times or the Washington Post that did this huge feature story about Black women not being able to, educated especially Black women not being able to get married. And there was all of this hoopla around that. And I wanted to counter that. So Black Bridal Bliss started out as a blog. It truly has become more than that. It's a resource from engagement, past weddings. So many of the couples that have been featured, once they expand their families, they reach out, it's kind of become a lifestyle platform or destination. Personally, since when I started the blog, I was in an on again, off again sort of relationship. I think we've all been there, those situationships. Mm-hmm. Right.
Oh, I love that. Situationships.
Yeah.
I've been in a lot of those before I got married. I was in a lot of those.
And but I got married myself in 2013. And I'm really happy. We have grown so much. I think anyone will that's honest will say marriage is work. It has ups and downs. We definitely are no exception to that. But I wouldn't want to be on this journey with anyone else.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
that is very, very sweet.
Yeah,
so let me just take you through some of your favorite since and you've been doing this for how long?
Wow, 8 years.
8 years. So this was before you got married, mind you.
Yes, yes.
So maybe it was good luck too, actually doing the doing Black Bridal Bliss.
I never thought about it like that. Maybe. I really
Maybe being
haven't.
surrounded by so many love stories kind of helped to make him come to life. I don't know. But I do admire the fact that somebody who wasn't married was able to launch such a successful wedding platform, which is very similar to Thelma, because Thelma is an officiant and she is a wedding coordinator and she is single, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I am single.
Yeah, yeah. And so without further ado, I want to take you through some of your stories that you have sent to me so that I can share. And these, for everybody who's watching, is some of our top, Bridgette's top favorites of the weddings that she's done. Now, okay, so this is where I'm like, okay, what do I do? Wait, my screen always like does this weird thing.
No worries.
Isn't it? There we go. So let's take a look at what we have here.
This is a favorite. So this is an Atlanta-based couple, Taryn and Corey, and they got married. You can't necessarily tell, but they got married in a courthouse.
That is so beautiful.
It was the pictures were gorgeous. The bride got her dress from H&M. They had yellow accents throughout the wedding. It is still technically a wedding. So as you can see, her shoes obviously are yellow. She had a yellow bouquet of flowers. The groom's sweater is yellow. It was so personal and so them. And one of the reasons it's my favorite is because I think so often we've been programmed to believe that courthouse or city hall weddings are boring, cookie cutter, not memorable. And that's just not the case. One piece of advice for couples who do decide to go this route is, you should still hire a photographer.
Right.
To capture the day. It's still monumental. It's life-changing. And why not, make sure that you celebrate that and take it just, I don't know if she had a professional makeup artist, but she may have gone to makeup counter in the mall, but her face was beat.
She's like really gorgeous though.
Gorgeous, right.
It was a clean palette to work with,
Exactly. So yeah, she was already, really beautiful. But she's still, I don't know, we've, like I said, we get this messaging that like a courthouse wedding is just, that it's not glam, or it can't be chic. And this was the epitome of chic.
Now, do you know if they had a reception afterwards?
I do not know that, because that's another option. That's a great question, Colette. That's another option. You can go this route and then maybe the next week or the next year, depending on what your situation is, you can have a more traditional reception with dancing and, food and so forth. But you still cut a lot of cost.
Do you have any questions, Thelma?
I find that when they do have the courthouse weddings, and like you say, later on, down the year, a year later or a couple of months after, they renew their vows and then they have an actual ceremony. So I just find that very interesting. I get a lot of couples who, excuse me, who do a courthouse wedding, but then later on, and it could be due to their situation at the time,
money,
excuse me, that they have a vow renewal, and it's almost like a wedding ceremony. So that's interesting. I do love that. I see that the groom is complimenting her also with his yellow jumper on. So very, very nice, very nice.
Which I love. I will say that this is not like any courthouse I've ever seen. Like most of the courthouse I've seen, they don't have that kind of background. So.
That marble, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful background.
Maybe it's just a matter of searching for an area in the courthouse to do this. Could be just
very good tip.
Yeah.
Another beautiful one.
Oh. Yes, Cleo and Lincoln. So they've become friends of mine.
Oh.
But yeah.
That's nice.
It is. They're great people. This was the very first couple that Black Bridal Bliss featured on the site. And one of the reasons, and I really hope that it's okay that I'm sharing this, but I think it's important. One of the reasons that their story and their pictures, I think, connected so much with so many people. They're a very handsome couple as well. They had a beautiful traditional ceremony in a church, and then a reception at like a country club in New Jersey. But the bride, it was a blended family, so the bride brought a son to the marriage. She was a young mom, a teenage mom. I thought it just said a lot about the resilience of Black women.
Yeah.
She's a successful, medical professional now. She married someone. Like there are all these stigmas that if you're not careful, you start to believe yourself. Mm-hmm. Oh, if I was a single teenage mom, there's no way I'm going to get married. And I won't get married to someone who, he adores her. Yeah, they have their issues, I'm sure, like any other couple. But it just sent, from the very beginning, a clear message about Black Bridal Bliss not subscribing to stereotypes. As far as their wedding goes, I mentioned they went the traditional route, but they're both of, so Colette, you'll like this, they're both of Caribbean heritage.
Okay.
So the bride is from Dominica, the groom is from St. Lucia.
Oh.
They had a steel pan band at their reception during cocktail hour.
I had that.
Right. They served black cake to the guests at the reception.
Ooh. This was my black cake. That was the gift that I gave out.
Right. Yeah. Same with them. So I thought it was a nice hybrid of tradition, like more, I guess, Western, stereotypical American tradition, but then, their West Indian heritage.
So I have a question about jumping the broom. Do you find a lot of people are still doing it? And did they do it? Is that what you mean by traditional?
Well, no, traditional in terms of, and even, I think they got married in 2009.
Okay.
2000. So even now you find couples don't do the church. And it was a traditional Catholic church with the stained glass and all of that. And they do the reception at, like I said, a country club. They'll do everything at one location. So I felt like that was more traditional. They didn't jump the broom. Mm-hmm. A lot of couples do still jump the broom. I find that's more, well, it depends. But I definitely think it is more of an African American or Black American, whatever you want to, tradition. But a lot of couples are still doing that. And we sell brooms.
Okay.
Plug, Black Bridal Bliss.
You sell them?
Yes, wedding broom resource.
Oh, okay. Let me make sure I put that there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just to piggyback on that, Bridgette, a lot of brides are doing the jump in the broom. I find some of the weddings that I officiate, they do request and they do want to include that into their ceremony. Right. So it's very, very interesting and it adds a special touch. So.
Right. Thank you.
That is very, very nice. Okay. It's interesting because my husband is American and I'm Caribbean. And so we did these cakes and my cake had black cake in it, but for his family, we gave them red velvet, but I used 2 different bakers.
I love that.
Yeah. But the baker who did the red velvet, I told her it was food grade tins, but she still didn't bake it in the tin. So she cut it up. So the American, his side only had these little slices of red velvet cake. And like, I felt really bad about that. Cause like one of his cousins was like, why are you doing us like that? You know, 'cause they opened up the Caribbean tin. They're like, oh, y'all get all of this black cake and we just red velvet cake. I'm like, sorry, I didn't know. I thought you could make it in the tin. But these are available at Paper Mart, and we ran out of money, so we just kind of created our own little thing here with this.
Yeah, but look,
it
you still have
really well. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
There we go.
Miss Tina, don't we love Miss Tina?
Oh my gosh, I adore her.
Yes. So this is a celebrity wedding, but I wanted to include it because I believe she was 60 or 61.
Oh wow. Okay.
She married Richard Lawson, and they're rich, obviously, but it was still pretty simplistic in terms of, she wore a jumpsuit. I think she was still very true to who she was, at that time in her life, and same with the groom. But they wanted to celebrate, just because of your age or because of, it's a second or even third marriage, doesn't mean that you can't have a memorable, celebration.
Yeah, and I love the gold accent in the middle. I mean, this was just so stunning. You forget that this is an older couple when you look at this picture because the imagery is just so stunning.
Right. And they got their wedding and the ceremony and reception, from what I understand, was on a boat.
Yes, it looks, I can see the water. And can I just say, Miss Tina is the comeback queen, honey. Yeah, she was like Matthew Who.
Right. Watch this.
Hello.
I love it.
I love it.
Lip? Yes. So this is Linda and Alonzo. And this is very, well, depending on how you look at it, approachable. They do own a brownstone.
Oh, okay.
So brownstones are not cheap.
No.
But they got married at home. This was a second marriage for Linda. Linda was a widow. And I believe at this time she was in her 50s. But this picture doesn't do it justice, but I wanted to talk about it because they did it their way. Mm-hmm. So they had guests, they still had it catered, but they, went to an eatery somewhere in Harlem that they really like, that they actually frequent on a regular basis. The food was on platters, like nothing matched, but it did match, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And when I love that, so it was a little rustic. It was like the ceremony was in their living room. They maybe had 30 guests.
Okay.
And then people moved into a different room to eat. And there was just like, Alonzo's actually a musician. So they did have a couple of musicians, they're playing, like it was like jazz and soft R&B, but it was them, and it was nice. I think at home weddings, we don't see them as much and I don't know, Thelma, you weigh in there. I don't see them as much with Black couples.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's something that more of us may start to consider as we're moving away from, traditional country clubs or, those sorts of things.
Especially when you see the bill.
Right.
Yeah, more and more couples are beginning to look at having their weddings at home in the garden, making it a more intimate setting, with not so many guests.
Right.
A few family and friends. And so more, like I said, more and more are looking at that. And plus also, as you well know, it cuts down on your budget as well.
Absolutely.
Having it at home is definitely it's happening a lot lately now.
Right.
Yeah, and I will say that what I think is really key with that is just my opinion, but photography.
Yes.
Now people have learned the art of photography to the point where, like, if you can have it in your yard, you can have it in your house. You have a really dope photographer, and nobody really cares where you were if the imagery is just so beautiful in the photographs.
That is so true.
Because I hear about farm weddings now, weddings on farms, weddings.
Yes.
They're all over the place now.
Right.
And it also cuts down on flowers.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You have that natural background, that natural setting. So you really don't have to worry about decorating and having all these flowers.
Yeah.
And also, Bridgette, flowers. Do you find a lot of brides are using real flowers versus silk flowers, forks flowers? What is your take on that?
Yeah, more brides are using faux flowers or silk flowers. There's still, to me, the preference is fresh flowers, but I think the quality and the, for lack of a better word, they look, the silk flowers, if you shop right, they don't look as cheap.
Mm.
There are more options to get them, especially for flowers that are being used, like if you have flower girls, or the flowers that are truly just decorative. There's no need to spend money on real flowers for that type of stuff. For bouquets, people are doing still, the majority still doing real flowers, but then there are like the brooch bouquets.
Yeah.
We've all seen those now. People are playing with different, like, it's like no rules really anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then of course, and I wish I had included, gosh, hindsight is 2020, a destination wedding, but you mentioned cutting down on decor, like for a beach wedding.
Yeah.
God's paintbrush is undefeated.
Yes.
So you don't need a lot of decorations.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so true. God's paintbrush is undefeated. I love that. And it's free.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I know this guy.
Yes, Anselm. Right.
Yes.
So Star and Anselm, they're one of my tips. What they did, they got married. I'm not sure if it was a Sunday, but they had a brunch wedding, which, Thelma, that can cut down on costs considerably.
Of course.
Absolutely. They had it at a Black-owned venue, Aquaba Bed and Breakfast in Brooklyn, owned by Monique Greenwood. We love Monique.
We love Monique.
Yes. And so, they're just a fun couple. Again, they did it their way, but it was still classy. It was still very memorable. They invested in their photography. Yeah.
That's a beautiful picture too. I love that.
Gorgeous.
And who is this young lady?
Oh, she looks kind of familiar.
She's pretty dope. Tell me about it.
Thank you. So
congratulations.
Thank you. We have a story too. So this was our more traditional wedding, and the reception took place in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we live in New York, but my family is from North Carolina. And once we started doing research and just, from sort of insider tips I got, I realized having a New York wedding was just way too costly for us. So we were able to have a similar type of affair in Charlotte for much less money. It was important to us to get married in a venue that we felt we would go to even if it wasn't our wedding.
Okay.
So some of the traditional venues just didn't appeal. They were just too stuffy for us.
Yeah.
Cookie cutter for us. So we got married actually at a museum, the Harvey B. Gantt Center for African American Culture in Charlotte. Harvey B. Gantt, a lot of people don't know, but he's very influential. He's the first Black mayor of Charlotte.
Nice.
Groundbreaking architect, and it's a beautiful space. So again, it didn't require a lot of flowers or decor either because it's a museum. So there's artwork everywhere. There are high ceilings, floor to ceiling windows.
That shot right there is gorgeous.
Thank you. We had the entire space, just for our day. And there's another picture so we did two, we kind of had two, yes. So kind of what we alluded to earlier, this is when we actually became man and wife, or husband and wife.
Oh, okay.
So this was a dress I picked up. I think it was a department store, but it wasn't even a wedding dress. It just happened to be a white dress. Oh. I already had those earrings. The shoes I already had. I got a baby breath bouquet from Penn Station.
Oh. I love that.
Yeah, and my father's deceased. My husband's father is sort of estranged. But our mothers were there, the officiant who kind of helped raise my husband, and I think 5 other people. Oh. It was Fort Tryon Park, which is the very, very top of Manhattan.
Yes.
And it was a gorgeous September day. Like, we really did this because My mother felt like there were a lot of people who helped raise me, who were influential in my life, who couldn't make it to Charlotte. So she said, let's just do something small. So after this, we went to a restaurant in Harlem. It was about 60 people. And we thought like, oh, that's just the whatever wedding. Like the real wedding is in Charlotte. This day was so beautiful.
No.
It was perfect. So that's another option for people to, you know.
That is beautiful. And again, talking about photography, when you look at the background here, Fort Tryon Park is stunning. I've only been there for the parties, you know, that Wednesday night thing.
Right.
But I've always admired the way it looks, like the big brick backgrounds and stuff.
Right. And a lot of people, everyone knows about Central Park, but surprisingly, a lot of people still don't know about Fort Tryon Park.
Which is interesting. It's starting to gentrify, though. I know that area in particular is starting to become really big.
Yeah. Oh, Kisa and Vlad. So I did want to include them. I did include a destination wedding, but it's a twist. So this couple resides in St. Louis. Loved them. I loved all the couples.
Yeah.
Loved them. They're also a blended family. They both brought daughters, tween daughters to the marriage, and now she's expecting. Yes, but she's originally, Kisa is from LA. Okay. So they did you can do a destination wedding without leaving the country, because I know for some people it's a concern that all their guests may not be able to travel. You know, to out of the country, or some people, if they're a senior citizen, that could be an issue. So they did destination, but it was still domestic. It was still a beach wedding, and they're just really good people. And gorgeous. Yeah,
I love the colors too.
Right.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah. Doesn't that just say Black Bridal Bliss?
I mean, that is Black love right there. Yeah. This is like you have to find out who these people are.
I do.
They're enjoying their wedding day. God.
Yes. Yes.
Smiling and in love and just enjoying the moment.
Yeah. Right. And that's one of the reasons I really wanted to include them. I think it's so easy as a wedding planner. You see this all the time, I'm sure. It's so easy to get caught up. There's so many moving parts in planning a wedding. When the day comes, you better enjoy it.
Yeah.
From beginning to end. It goes by so fast. You'll probably never have another time in your life where all of those people will be in one place for a joyous celebration, not a funeral, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, I love that that you can't fake that.
No. Yeah. This does not look like it was posed. This looks like something he told her a little joke and she giggled.
Right.
It is just the sweetest picture ever.
Yes.
It's like little kids, isn't it? Being a little kid, right?
Very.
And don't we love seeing, I mean, with the political climate and the news cycle now, I just really appreciate sharing imagery of happy Black people.
Oh yes, absolutely. I remember it was raining on my wedding day and I was walking up the steps. You too?
Yeah, in the beginning in Charlotte, yeah.
So I was walking up the steps in my dress. And somebody was holding the umbrella for me. And it was in the hood. The church we picked was in the hood. I too had a very traditional wedding.
Okay.
And this man was riding his bike past and said, "Oh, you getting ready to get married?" And I'm like, yeah. He was like, "Oh, that's nice. Black love. I'll never forget that man, because that was the last person that spoke to me before I walked down the aisle. This day, I'm like, I still remember him on that bike. And I really wish somebody had gotten a shot of him doing that as I was walking up the step.
Yes.
It was the funniest, cutest moment, because I was so nervous. And when he said that, I laughed all the way up the steps. It was such a funny day. It was a funny moment.
Right.
But anyway, so you also have some tips, right? Some cost-cutting tips?
Yes.
We'll go through them quickly. I am definitely going to share them on the page.
Okay.
But we will definitely... I
could just talk about 5.
Yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be great.
Okay.
And
So the first one, and I think you'll agree, Thelma, one of the biggest is timing. So to get married between November and I would say April is a lot less expensive than, October, September through June.
Correct.
It's just in most parts of the country, especially because the weather's better, so you're going to get charged more. You're taking a chance when you get married, say in January or February in the Northeast.
Flowers that are in season. Would you say that that's it's better to look for flowers that are in season now than out of season because it costs a little bit more, correct?
Correct. That's a huge one. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of brides, they get hooked on, since they were 14, they wanted orchids or they wanted roses. Go with what's in season. Also, they will look better.
Right.
They will be fresher. They will, yeah.
I've always said that baby's breath always gives a nice, elegant look to a wedding. So they want to consider baby's breath with some foliage around, and that always looks nice and elegant. And
it does. It does.
So
it's not just a filler.
Yeah.
And Bridgette, your background is in beauty, so I'm going to ask you to share a few quick tips about makeup for weddings.
Oh,
maybe one quick tip, like the one, anything that you remember or you think that women should.
Right. You put me on the spot. You want to look like the very best version of yourself.
Thank you. That's exactly, that's enough. That's good.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I think a lot of times for a lot of women, makeup, this is the first time they're actually professionally getting their makeup done.
Right.
And so they don't realize not to go all out.
Right.
I have a girlfriend who got her makeup done. It was her first time ever getting her makeup done. I actually found a makeup artist for her from my job, somebody I knew.
Uh-huh.
And when she came out the room, I was shocked that she didn't look anything like herself. In any of her wedding pictures, she looked good. It just didn't look like her.
Right.
And I felt like that's one of the things that I don't think women mentally prepare for. They just want to go all out for the wedding.
Yes.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have a story about that makeup thing as well.
Yeah.
I had a bride who got her makeup done during the trial leading up to her wedding day.
Okay.
And she loved how the makeup looked. She looked wonderful. She was very pleased. Well, on the day of her wedding, the makeup artist that did her makeup that day was not the same makeup artist that arrived at the wedding to do her makeup.
Wow.
And so the way she looked at the trial period, the wedding day, the makeup was off.
Right.
The same company, but a different person. So that's something, make sure, brides, that when you have your trial and that person does your makeup and you're pleased with it, make sure it's the same person that's coming on that day to do your makeup, because I can see that she was not pleased and the shade was off. She was not pleased at all. It showed on her face.
And so she did the trial. She did the right thing by doing a trial.
Yes, but it wasn't the same person. It was a different person that came, and that should not have been the case.
No.
And also, that may need to be something that should be in the contract.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, ladies, thank you so much. This was fun. I think we went through most things. Is there anything else you guys want to shout out? Maybe your websites?
Yes. Thelma, do you want to go first? Oh, okay. I'll go first. So blackbridalbliss.com, conventional spelling. Please check us out also on social media, of course. Instagram and Twitter, it's BLK Bridal Bliss. We do a really fun on Instagram every morning. There's a morning muses picture. People love that. So get your, your fix. It's kind of like your morning coffee to get your Black love fix. And on Facebook, we're Black Bridal Bliss.
BLACK on Facebook or BLK?
BLACK.
Okay, awesome. And Thelma, invitation to a wedding.
Invitation to a wedding is www.invitationtoawedding.com. And I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. And also, you can take a look at my website. That's it.
And ladies, she is an officiant for those brides out there. She is an officiant. Can you imagine getting married by a woman with that accent?
Yeah.
I wish I had that.
That's one of my features, and couples, when they call or they find me on the website, that's one of the things that they request. It's featured on my website, and I'm glad, and I thank them for it. You don't know how many times after a wedding I get people coming up to me and asking me, "Where are you from? I love your accent."
They can't tell.
And it's funny because when I do start a wedding ceremony and I start talking, when I start officiating, it's funny to see the look on the guest's face, and it's like they're in awe and they're just staring at you while you're officiating the wedding. So I do enjoy that, and I thank God that I'm in this business because I get to bring couples together. I love bringing couples together, and not a lot of couples have a church home, and so it's very nice to know that I can go to different locations and marry these couples, and they actually stay in touch with me after their wedding. So we actually become friends and forever. I still have couples from 2012, 2013 who still call me and want to know how I am. So it's really nice, the couples I get to meet. It's a very enjoyable profession, but I like to do things according to what they want. I go ahead and do what they want me to do for their wedding. So
cheers. So cheers to that.
Yes.
And cheers to you, Bridgette. I think that.
Thank you.
I think this was one of my favorite episodes because it was all about like weddings and planning. I love planning parties and weddings. So this was like so fantastic. You were great, Bridgette. Sorry for putting you on the spot about makeup, but you got exactly right what I thought. You know, that was something that was like a pet peeve of mine when I go to a wedding and I don't see the bride. It's like, where's the bride? Okay.
Right.
It's coming up. I've got 2 coming up soon. I'm really excited. One is an encore marriage, and one is a first marriage. Do you guys have any weddings? Well, I know you guys have weddings coming up.
Yeah. And now I'm drawing a blank, but I know I do. I just
There's always a wedding in the summertime, right?
Right. I do have one quick thing that I forgot to mention that's just paramount in all of this, and I don't mean to sound corny or cliche, but don't forget your marriage in the midst of planning the wedding.
Amen.
Amen. Another good thing is to have a day of wedding, a wedding coordinator for the day of. Yes. Asset. Don't try to do it on your own or get family or friends to do it.
My mistake.
Day of wedding coordinator to take that stress off of you. Enjoy your day with your family and friends.
Right.
You will not regret it.
Right.
Absolutely. So, I've never heard one person say they regret having a wedding coordinator on the day.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Okay, now, cheers. Glasses up.
Cheers.
You guys have a wonderful night and a great week.
Thank you. Thank you, Colette. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.